time when the pain was rife.
Yes, so that should have been done, but why wasn't it done? So a lot of people are blaming the media.
Oh,
and
how?
then also
this was all over the place.
Also blaming the authorities, because like I said, the authorities should have captured that information. The media should also have highlighted that information, like this happened.
But this was
just
all
because
over
this happened
the
in the
media.
air. And
this was all over the media.
All over the media, but then you see, it can be all over the media.
Even the caskets they were put in was shown by the media. The graveyard they were buried. The dimension of the depth of the grave was shown by the media.
Yes, so OHEMAA, you see, it can be shown by the media, but the focus that you place on it.
It was a mistake, just as you said.
Yes.
There was a gap. There was a lacuna.
So both the media and the authority should take responsibility.
When it comes to the matter of death, I don't think one is superior over the other.
No.
And everybody being a national of this country,
yes.
Equal attention should be given.
Yes. And even having said that, it's not the 15. Sometimes we have 8. Sometimes we have 6. On the Cape Coast Road, on the Accra-Kumasi Road, it's a weekly occurrence.
Yeah.
So the military is being deployed to do a 24-hour road development program, and the president has caused the release of funds for several key roads. In fact, the expansion of major roads and turn them into dual carriages, so that the traffic flow, most of the accidents occur when they are either head-on, or that the roads are narrow and they're packed vehicles. So I think that the holistic approach of the government is going in the long term, medium to long term, free up space for parking, create additional lanes for other, utility vehicles like motorcycles and so on, which also kind of compound the situation. I think let us look forward into the future and see within, don't forget, this government has not been in office for more than 7 months.
Not up to a year.
When I say no more than 7 months, I'm adding the fact that the president on day 1 didn't have his full complement of ministers. It took about almost, let's say, 2 weeks to get his first team, and then for them to be sworn in, for them to assume office, for them to get acquainted in terms of the documentation. And forget also, that there are several instances of corruption that they have to deal with. For example, if you look at the Wontumi contracts, the road contracts that were given, that we can confidently say that no money was spent, but money was taken. That's not the only one, that's several. So even those that are outstanding, and the president gave instructions that all road contracts that have been awarded continue the work, even whilst investigations are continuing, so that doesn't become stalled indefinitely. I think that let's give some credit. You can't wish away death on our highways, but I believe also that the president is looking at the water transport situation to free up the roads of the high vehicular, especially the big trucks. That big trucks do a number of things. One, they do not only get spoiled on the roads and cause accidents, they spoil the roads over time because the weights and stuff. But if these are now being done over water, they can only displace water. The water will find its way back.
But you say rail.
No, I'll get there. I'll get there. The president has plans for rail as well, but I think the water is the game changer because it comes with, it's a full, it's not just like a wish thing. You get it. This government is very deliberate about the things it does, and it has ancillary facilities. So you see, for example, when President Mahama in the first term was constructing like the the various interchanges, it comes with hospital facilities, it comes with schools, it comes with, so it's an all-rounded program, and I think that we should avert our attention to that and give a little space. We came into a time also when there was no money. The monies have been squandered. In fact, sorry, not squandered, stolen. And so we should recover all it. It's already recovery money. And sometimes when people say that, oh, why are you taking 60% instead of 100? The guy has already chopped like 60, he's coughing up the 60. Take what you can now, doesn't mean the person is free. If we can, assuming that we had 30 billion to take from, let's say, 10 individuals, and it is possible to get 30 billion from 10 individuals, considering the scale of the looting. If you're able to get 60% of that, all these roads will be fixed. There'll be extra for real. Forget about the Sky Train. Did it come? That money, can't it be used for something? So I beg you. Yes, the government.
But is the money even existing?
You see, the government is retrieving monies.
Okay.
The government is taking steps to ensure that the 24-hour economy works, that more people are employed, and that people work assiduously. The military is going to be one key factor. And I want us to see that when those road projects starts, and you see the 48 engineers team on the roads working 24 hours, the inspiration that people will derive from that, seeing the speed. In fact, if you look at the stretch, the traffic around, what do you call it, the Ofanko stretch, that's the overpass, what do you call it, the...
Ofanko to Sawam.
Yes, the Pokwase area. You see that traffic that builds up?
Yeah.
Assuming that it's done, the road is done, you can see what will happen. If the Kumasi roads are done,
it will end up at Osim or...
No, it's going to continue. It's continue all the way to Kumasi. In fact,
yes.
You see...
The traffic?
No, I'm saying that the road, the plan for the roads are not just to narrow at some point. So you don't create a big road and take us into something. You're going to cause that you're just transporting the trouble elsewhere. But this time around, it's all the way. And it's not just in one area. So you come to the, let's say, towards Aflawo, you have a similar thing, 6 lane. The motorway, have you passed on the motorway recently?
Yes.
Has the road work stopped?
The what?
No.
The road work has stopped.
But then I heard that is because of the fact that it's a PPP, the private...
Yeah, but you see, there were several projects that were undertaken under the former Mahama government or other governments that get truncated, and then they'll say they're investigating. Look at Saglama, for example. I mean, several things. This time round, there's been serious corruption that we all can see, palpable corruption. Yet, work must go on. We will find the thieves, we'll collect the monies, we'll put it into good use, but work must not stop in the name of investigation. Whilst we compound the problem and have more lives lost, needless lives lost, like the system that got. Listen, but I plead with you, government cannot be all-knowing, government cannot do everything. So apologies if they fall short.
I think on that note, please allow me to expand on what government cannot do everything. And I think government cannot do everything, and we as a nation, we need a paradigm shift on how we finance our road infrastructure. There's no way, it's now, I see the situation as a leader of a household having 20 children, and with the income, that will not be enough. So it should be, instead of having 3 square meals or whatever, they are only having 1. That is the situation we find ourselves when it comes to road infrastructure. There's no way that we can maintain the road network in Ghana based on the existing funding.
Fiscal,
Recently I was in Cote d'Ivoire, and I saw what the improvement they've made, because they shifted their paradigm as well. The president said, no, we need to pay for the road usage. And that usage is something that is paying already. On their motorway, you always see constant maintenance, regular maintenance. They are overlaying, they are scraping and replacing the asphalt. You don't need to reconstruct, because when you construct, it doesn't end there. 10% of the amount of money you used for construction should be set aside every year for the maintenance of that road. So we've had it so good, we as a country, as a people, we are not paying for it. Recently, I heard the president saying that we are going to reintroduce tolling. And that it will be on your phone or about 1 cedi. I said to myself, hey, there's an error there. He shouldn't say that. We should move away from the 1 cedi to where the amount that will adequately cater for the maintenance of our roads. As PDA said, all these tracks that are plying our roads, even from the landlord countries, the amount of money they are paying is quite insignificant. They are not paying for the wear and tear of the road usage. We need to widen the debate and then tell the people the minimum amount that we should pay for the usage of our roads. We cannot depend on the government alone, because we don't have that money. Even the big push that we said we're going to spend 13 billion cedis will not, it will be a drop in the ocean. When it comes to, you are looking at construction now. What about the maintenance?
Yeah.
Even 13 billion is not enough to maintain the road network in Ghana. So we need to start talking, and then begin the paradigm shift that the roads should pay for itself.
Your assertion on the president's statement that 1 Ghana cedi was what was going to be contributed
deducted whenever yes.
You are saying that 1 Ghana cedi is too little?
It can. Okay, let me compare with what they charge in Cote d'Ivoire, for example. Some people will say the level of income or whatever, but for Cote d'Ivoire, 500 francs.
Francs,
500 francs is the equivalent of, let's say, 10 cedis.
Okay.
And if you use their motorway, you are paying about 1,000 francs.
So that's 20 cedis.
That's 20 cedis. And then I traveled from Abidjan to Boaké, 330 kilometers. It's a journey that could be made in 3 hours, but by the end of that journey, I would have paid 80 cedis.
Okay.
So what I observed on that road was that most of the commercial vehicles were using that road, and most of the private users were using buses. Some people will park and use their buses. So the wear and tear on the road, those heavy trucks are paying for that. And then if those who can afford to travel in their private
there's less
vehicles,
traffic as well.
yes. So and you see that they are using the money to regularly maintain the road, and that is how it should be. We should, and I think when we went for that debt restructure, at that very time, they went to IMF for their infrastructure, and they got about 3 billion to do that. So this is what we need to start thinking about. Pick the government, 13 billion cedis for construction and for big push. It's a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
At the moment, we heard that I think the past government, Dr. Baumia was saying we have a deficit of $12 billion to repair and maintain our roads network in Ghana.
I think your reference point is not a very good one. I mean, you've said all the right things, but your ending was a little...
Now, mentioning Dr. Baumia made it a good
reference point for anything economics, let alone ICT these days.
Why not?
Yes.
He ran away. No,
okay, I shouldn't have mentioned his name. That's what you are saying. But then the figure, that 12 billion,
so just mention the figure, but Adi Baumia spoils the figure.
Okay.
He's at liberty to make references.
Okay.
If you do not agree that Baumia is the right reference point, I mean...
Because the man was in charge of the thing.
Yes.
What did he do? What's his record?
But it was he's an instrument through which that information came to there. So
anyway, that's on the light.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's on the lighter side, but any research by Baumia is a little questionable.
Let's hear from our viewers. What are they saying this morning? And you can be a part of the conversation. Just send your message 0559919802. Let's get talking. Now this one says that people from Volta region, they've done what? They don't go to their hometown. Okay, this one says, my name is Augustine De Silva. Good morning, Pan-African TV. Please help me extend my suggestion in honor of our 8 heroes to Mr. President JDM. My suggestion is that the big 6 on one of our currency notes should be replaced by our gallant 8 heroes. This, in my view, will be enough among other things to console the families in a way that their children who do not know them well as their fathers or grandfathers when they grow up will admire them as heroes of the nation. The old mother of the defense minister seeing his only son going down history on a currency note might also keep her spirits up. This is coming from Augustine da Silveira. Okay. Augustine da Silveira. This one's coming from Saba. Saba says that these are the people from the Volta region who are tarnishing the good name of the... I don't know what conversation you are contributing to, but we are talking about African solidarity to Ghana as we have lost these 8 precious lives. This one's also coming through, says it's obvious Ghanaians are in quandary over the tragic demise of these illustrious men in line of their duty for the good, for God and country. Much as it's extremely painful amidst mixed feelings, let's be informed that this isn't the time for distasteful gloating over this pickle of for postulations. Rather, it should be an ideal moment to right our wrongs and to ensure that we deal with issues of national interest devoid of knee-jerk approaches like we've witnessed over the years. Unfortunately, it's evident we learn only when avoidable predicaments befall us. Right, this is from Jomo Pokwase Festus. Oh, Jomo Pokwase Festus. All right, Festus, thank you very much for the message. But I'll be reading more messages. On Facebook, we are live, and so you can be sending your messages on there as well. Now, let me just pick up from Festus's contribution of the fact that it is a moment for us to right our wrongs. We move on to our next topic for discussion, which is the fact that Ghanaians are in a pensive mood as thousands are grieving. I really admire the fact that we honored the communication minister's requests for images concerning the accident should be dealt with in a decorous manner, and you don't see that anymore on our social media feeds and even on television. I really admire Ghanaians for upholding that appeal, that passionate appeal. But also, what lessons are we drawing from this tragedy? What are we learning in terms of aviation safety, in terms of even safety for our public officials, as you mentioned earlier, and considering other varied ways of, transporting and traversing across the length and breadth of the country? Let me start with you, Doc, on this one. What lessons are we drawing generally?
Okay, thank you, OHEMAA. I think PDA broached that topic with the encroachment.
Yeah.
Of the
civil aviation.
Yes. Aviation Investigation Bureau, but it's a long one actually. Okay. Aviation Investigation, Prevention, and Safety Bureau, something like that.
So let's ask ourselves that if that accident had happened in Accra, what would have been the impact? And it was not just because in the past the authorities did not want us to use those lands that they demarcated them for the safety of air traffic. So now we can see that there's a lot of encroachment even at the airports. They are building everywhere. And there was a recent demolition. Somebody would say ostensibly, but then the others have been allowed to come up. See, as a nation, we should take our safety measures seriously. It's not only when it comes to air traffic. When you go on our road, travel on our roads, there should always be some reserve between the road and where people can develop or put up structures. Now they are just developing next to the road. So even as we are thinking about construction of new roads, like we have on the Nkoko area, when you are driving through that area, you would even question yourself, was the investment worth it? Because you've allowed, even people are maintaining, changing tires or repairing vehicles. It was supposed to be a dual carriageway, but at that junction, everything is it's a mess. So all these things shouldn't have happened. We've got the authorities, there are regulations.
Yeah.
Why aren't they being enforced? So that is one. And then we already talked about the investment in the funding of the road infrastructure. If you also think about the air, the defense minister, I heard that in his last address to Parliament, he listed so much on the deficits of the financing of the aircrafts,
right,
the maintenance, that the nature of the aircrafts at the time. And if now we are shifting from road to air for the transportation of our officials, then we should also take that matter seriously.
I mean, with the option of traveling by air or by road, I also think it has to do with the urgency of the function and where they were going, because the program had already started.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to remind Ghanaians of what happened, but the urgency also influences the way they were going to travel.
No, the agency, as I said, Accra to Obuasi,
yeah,
it's about 250 kilometers.
that should be about 7 hours.
And now it's about 6-7 hours. Now, because of the fact that our roads have been neglected, that journey could have been done in 2 hours. I've done that in 3 hours before when I was working for Ashanti Goldfields, and I used to. That time the road, the Cape Coast Road was good, and the Asimfosu Road was good. So that can be done in maximum 3 hours. If the officials were traveling, they could have done it in 2 hours with their motorcade, then they could have done it in 2 hours. And I even heard that some of the officials flew to Kumasi and drove to Obuasi. And
You think that they could have done same?
No, I think some of them did that. So as you're saying that it was it was urgent at a short notice, I don't think that was the case. So they had a prior notice that they were traveling. Some even sent their drivers to Obuasi. So they could have, and a story I was telling my friends.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I grew up near KNUST. My place of birth. It's now called Kenting. It's Kenting Krono.
Kent for shop. Kent.
Kenting Krono. And that, you see, we could just go and stand by the roadside when Kutu Echampo was the head of state. Every week he traveled to Kumasi, and we just stood at the roadside and saw how, because the road network was good at that time. The vehicular traffic was not that sense. And now if you look at the number of registered vehicles in Ghana, it's outstretched most of the countries in the sub-region. We've got about 3.2 million registered vehicles, about 10% of our population. So if you have that number of vehicles on your roads and you are not maintaining your road, what do you want? It's a disaster.
The road that doesn't have the capacity to hold.
Yes. So we have so many aspects to look at.
Okay.
And it's not something that can be, we just put army officers to maintain the road. It's a national debate on how we are going to fund this deficit for road maintenance and construction. It's not, the government cannot do it alone. It's a paradigm that has to be shifted.
But does it have to always be the case that something tragic has to happen before we are, up on our toes, thinking, trying to deliberate, trying to put things together. Haven't you noticed that trend that something would have to happen first before the idea or the will to put in measures comes through?
Yeah, OHEMAA. So that's a beautiful question. You see, when you are involved in a lot of crisis, or you have a lot of crisis situations, you are dealing with priority. So if your prioritization is not effective, then these things will come true, and that would give you the urgency to work on it. So at the moment we have a lot of crisis. Like I said, the road situation is a serious crisis that I don't know how as a nation we can come out of it based on our current level of funding. We cannot come out of it unless we come out with additional measures to ensure that we rope in a lot of money. And we don't even have the access to the international market to go and raise $10 billion to come and rectify the situation. This would take a long time. So it's a crisis management. We have to look at how best we can derive benefit from the current situation. That has to be looked at critically. Because just going to, I don't know whether we are just going to grade the roads or we'll grade monthly.
I think the roads minister said it was going to be reconstructed from the scratch.
No, but
and those that have to, have the maintenance, the patching and all that will also be done.
Reconstruction from the scratch is what we are talking about, that we don't have the means to do that. It's just, we can say it, but as to having the means. So we're looking for $10 billion for this big push program.
Yeah.
We got basically $1 billion, a tenth of that. And that tenth is supposed to be for the maintenance of that 10 billion. You need 10% to maintain your the cost of the construction. So we have that big gap that has to be looked at, and that's so PDA. When you have access to those who matter, we need to engage that debate. That it's good for the government to provide this facility to the citizens at low cost, but you can't do it. There's no point saying I will do it when you don't have the capacity to do it. Now, even the developed countries have moved away from that. They are involving private participation and also getting the citizens to pay adequately for the road usage. So the other thing I was going to talk about, you see that most of the heavy trucks from the landlord countries are now passing through Ghana, because it's for them it's cost effective. They will, as I told you, they will pay from Abidjan to Ouagadougou. By the time they get there, they would have paid about 200 or 400,000. There's 400 cedis in road tolls. They won't pay anything in Ghana. And how you are offering this to them? How are you going to repair the road? Is it that's for solidarity that you're doing, or we have to for economically we have to be realistic and then ensure that these infrastructures pay for themselves and not the government, because the government revenue is not that adequate to meet all this expenditure.
Thank you very much, Dr. Valentine. PDA, what do you think?
Well, first, Doc, I think those who matter are already watching. I'm sure that Kwesi has been watching. He also has greater access. And I think by and large, a number of things are being done. I'd like to highlight a few. For example, road maintenance is not just the road construction itself in terms of the road works itself being maintained, but as vehicles spoil on the roads and oil spills and spoil the top surface, then the rains come and make the potholes bigger, and then the sub, soil is also affected. The heavy vehicles also kind of impact on the road in such a manner that if the subsoil is not done well, then you have those, mountains and ridges, which also cause accidents because you get into a bump and before you know it, you are off the road or into something else. And then there's a cleaning of the roads, the shoulders of the roads, and then actually the islands.
Yes.
These maintenance-related works used to be the prison of one company, Zoomlion, which was supposed to be working for or in concert with the Youth Employment Agency, so forgive me. And that has been yanked out of their hands and given to local government, which has now also given it to the MMDCEs or MMDAs, okay? So that it can be done at the local level. Hitherto, a job that was being done by a company, you see old people working on these roads in the name of the youth. I mean, for me, it doesn't, jive at all.
Yes.
Then, now it's been taken away. I want to see a paradigm, and I agree with Doc when he says that there must be a paradigm. And I believe the government is on track. There must be consultation, like he said. One of the key attributes of this government is consultation. In fact, to a point where the opposition has criticized that to a fault, it's consulting too much. We've had consultative fora on education, on economy, the roads, and so on, and he's asking for more. And I think John Mahama wants to bring everybody along and carry everybody along. That is what governance is. I have a vested interest in the youth, almost a fault. I want to see a situation where we have these things that have been taken to the local level, have real young people in those communities doing the work and earning some money. And I believe also that it should be further decentralized, where we have junction-to-junction companies. I mean, one will ask, what's a junction? What's a junction-to-junction company? I mean, I'd like to use that one where I live, for example. You have a situation where there's a long stretch of the highway, the high street, the Dasman High Street, passes from one roundabout to another, long stretch. If you let a few people maintain the whole stretch, even accountability and to some extent competition does not come in properly because it's just one company not competing with anyone. But if you have like little pieces given to small companies, so one junction to the next is handled by a small company of let's say 3 or 4 people, they own that stretch. You can easily tell who's working and who's not working.
Straight away. Accountability very easy.
At the same time, competition, because then
this one's checking on how this one is doing.
And then there should be a reward system. I think long term, they own the thing as well. They live in the community. People know them. People can say, oh, you are not doing well. And I think that there must be motivation for such enterprises. That is how we are able to sustain these things beyond regime. And I think the legacy project that President John Mahama is on will require such things. And these are thoughts from people that have been talking to some of us and would gladly not only share to the state, but would entreat all of you when these kind of consultative processes are at your doorstep or come at the time that you are alive, because we're all not going to be alive at some point. Please make it a point, a national duty that never procrastinate. From this tragedy, we must learn one thing. Never do what you can do today, tomorrow. Do it today. In fact, do it right now. And make sure you do it the best you can.
Yes, I think that is a very profound statement, a statement that needs to sip through our pulse as a country, because we are always pussyfooting, waiting for something to happen, and before we take action, which is very, it's something that
one good thing has come after something happened. Oral. After the election.
No, let's not go into the oral conversation.
Because the money component,
I do get you, but that conversation will come.
Do you know how much you've recovered so far?
We're just reflecting on,
you know, idea.
With the state of Ghanaians right now and what the lessons we're drawing. But Dr. Marazuk has joined us. Good morning, Dr. Marazuk. I mean, on a usual day, we'll be doing our very
his outfit requires some commentary. It looks more like a jumpsuit.
But let me introduce him. Dr. Marazuk, we'll have done our usual pleasantries, but it's still not a good morning for Ghanaians, and we're still mourning. We're still solidarizing with the families of the departed. But you're welcome. And how's your morning been? And also, following yesterday's burial service, were you in attendance, and how did it go?
We actually met.
Yes. I was in attendance. Good morning to the cherished viewers. But let me admit that my morning is rather morning. Yes. My morning is not good. It is rather in a state of mourning. So, but we accept it, as Muslims, we accept it as a divine order. All that we want Ghanaians to understand is that this has become, or at least should become, a common grief in need of a common search for a common relief. And therefore, it should constitute an opportunity for national unity, solidarity, and prosperity. In fact, it is a calamity, yes, we understand, but out of that calamity, we can derive prosperity. And that is why His Eminence National Chief Imam Sheikh Dr. Osman Nosharutu issued a statement. And then in that statement, His Eminence advised Ghanaians, especially those of us in the media, to be measured in our public discourse on the issue. Whatever we say should be constructive. It should not add to injury. So I want to use this opportunity to repeat those lines. Let us do away with all kinds of divisive statements, jaundiced analysis, and rather do everything possible for the nation to recover from this tragedy. I strongly believe that we still have men and women in this country capable of helping us to overcome the challenges. When I came, I heard the two gentlemen, my powerful prince,
your best friend,
yes, and the noble doctor, yes, our uncle. I think he should be an uncle to both of us.
Yes, of course. Hey, not to him, I'm not that old. If they're in Ghana, I'm retired at 62.
Okay. Oh no, but if you are retired, then you are really an uncle for us. You see? Yes. So I heard you say that we should try to avoid procrastination. Yes. Let me add that we should rather even be proactive.
Very proactive. Yes.
We should be proactive. We wait for incidents to happen before we look for solutions to those incidents.
That's the conversation we are raising.
And it is unfortunate. We should rather be proactive. Yes. And in our proactiveness, we should accept the principle of unity and expertise. It doesn't matter which political party you belong to. Yes. You should. In fact, NDC now has the right to engage every Ghanaian because the victory that it has won has been a reflection of the will of Ghanaians. Yes. That it has transcended partisan lines. And that is why politicians should learn to use experts and expertise that are not necessarily found within their boundaries. These people should be treated as Ghanaians, and their engagement should be treated as patriotism rather than partisanship. If we are able to adopt this style, definitely we will be enjoying in a state of unity in diversity. Thank you for the opportunity.
Unity in diversity. I was waiting for such like a punchline. One of his punchlines.
We had something in strategy.
Right.
Integration and differentiation. You have to know when you differentiate. So the parties, they should know how to when to differentiate and when to integrate. So that you, for a period like this, it's integration that works. And then when it comes to elections, then you go and do your differentiation. Exactly. So if you don't, that theory in strategy, if you don't use it, you always fail. You have to, even with your staff, the departments, you have to know when you work. You work together and when you concentrate your
I'm sorry to truncate.
And convergence.
Diversity, unity in diversity.
So you don't work in silos.
And this is still the newspaper review segment on Pan-African Television. We'll take a quick break and we advance the conversations when we return. Do stay.
Why were you late?
Hello, Madam Bola. How are you and how is Lagos? Kwame, Lagos Day. How is Accra?
Accra is fine. We can't complain. Are my fabrics on the way?
Yes, sir. I hope my money is also on the way.
As we speak, my accountant is sending money to you and others at GCB.
Money joins.
That is a lifesaver.
Yeah, Lady D. What's up, baby?
Tia, I got the money.
Oh, that's beautiful. It was fast.
Oh, and guess what? It was so easy and faster than I thought.
I'm busy right now. Let me call you back later, yeah? All right. Love you, baby.
See you soon. Bye.
From country to country, make seamless transactions across Africa with GCB. For more information on parts and how to get started, call toll-free on 0800 422 422.
GCB, your bank for life.
Well, the conversations get intense here on the newspaper review segment. Welcome back from that short break. We just moved away from our subjects that had to do with the nation being in pensive mood and what reflections we are making, thousands grieving, and yesterday Murtala and Muniru laid to rest. But Doc, this is just to digress. We hear that in the Islam religion, or the principles, doctrine that govern the Islam religion, you cannot bury someone with a casket. And so the caskets that the government provided were not used. How true is that?
Well, let me start by saying, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So says the Quran. From God we have come, and to him we shall return. Or by God we have been created, and to him we shall return. So our creation is from the dust, and then our return to the dust. So that is the principle. However, Islam has a certain principle too, that necessity can allow something that is not that is preventable.
Okay.
For instance, in Islam, we have a particular version of bathing for the dead. But when a dead body is burnt beyond recognition, or when a dead body is in a state that cannot allow people to see it, it is better to bury the dead body without even bathing it. In Islam, we pray on the dead body or for the dead body before it is buried. But when a person is drowned and the body cannot be found, you can do the prayer in absentia. You can sit in Tamale and do the prayer. Somebody can be in America and do the prayer. You can do the prayer anywhere. That is Islam. So in a situation where a dead body demands burial with a casket, it is completely allowed in Islam. It becomes a special situation. It becomes an abnormal situation. You are no longer dealing with an ideal situation. So even if we expand the argument, the casket could have been, the bodies could have been buried